Hello, y'all.
Hey, I am the light of the Leo, and this here is my brother JoJo Speaks, and I made him watch Netflix The Glory. Won't you come along with us? We are on the last episode, Jonathan. Did you ever see us getting here?
I knew we would get here eventually.
Oh, it took forever.
It doesn't feel as though it's been as long as it has been because it has been over 2 months that we've been reviewing this particular show.
16 weeks.
16 weeks, but yeah, it's one of those things. This is the third month on this thing. Then that's what that means.
Child.
But I'm glad that we're finally at the end of this tragic story of revenge.
Yes, it is. We'll just sum it up at the end. Let's just go ahead and jump in there. Y'all don't mind my band-aid. I went to the doctor today. They always taking blood, old people. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I'm over here looking at the best music. I'm doing the feeding ducks. All right. So I got the music going. We start out this episode. Come for you. Yep. Wait, how I wrote all these notes and didn't say who was saying what? This
Oh
lets you know how
Lord.
sleepy I was when I was doing
Yeah.
this. Oh, so we ended off episode 15 with Sohi's mommy, okay? She had fainted. We all went to go see about her, okay?
Okay.
And then Dungoon is like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then the staff of the hospital saw that Yo Jong, okay, her man, was the one that is showing as guardian for Sohi's mommy. And she's like, that's really weird. He's just regular old Young Jung. Like, how is he connected to any of this? And as you can see, she was in a state of confusion,
Right.
bewilderment. And then when we get to the first part of this new episode 16, she says, "Did you always know I would come to you for help?" That's what she asked Yo Jung. What did you think about this moment?
Because Moon Dong-ung is such a smart woman, because she's such an intuitive woman, she's starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And it makes perfect sense that he might have been on her case from negative day one, like before day one ever came. He was on her case, and he had his eye on her. And it's going to be really interesting to hear how it is that he came to approach her, how he came
Yeah.
to be in her life. And that's a very interesting story in its own.
Yeah, and that's actually what I'm about to tell you. So basically, what had happened, okay? Um, y'all, you remember that day very early on, months ago, when when Dungun basically passed out because she was apparently anemic. That's what they found out afterwards with the testing and things of that nature.
Hmm.
And it was Yo Jung that was right beside him that got beaten up because he over here getting drunk, hitting people because his daddy went to glory, and he's upset about it because the man that killed his daddy, is still alive.
Right.
So he's, swinging on the world and people beating him up in the process. So they had a little bed beside each other.
Hmm.
So when Dango, like Yo Jung wakes up, he was looking at her scars and everything, and she was like, no, thank you. And she ran before she could get any more fluids that she needed and all that good stuff. Not even her prescription for what she needed to help get better and quit passing out. Like, why would she just ignore that? But anyway, um, so he told her on this episode 16, that I saw your student ID. I saw the age that you were. And you're around the age of Sohee. The only reason why Sohee came up, okay, he followed her. She went over to the morgue to look at the morgue. Okay, she didn't go in, but he was like, I see what you're doing. And then he
Hmm.
realized, like, well, you would have been the same age as Sohee, and y'all went to, like around the same schools or whatever. So it's like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. So he basically went to work making sure that she was good. So he was good. And then as Dungoon was watching out for him, she was watching out for both of each other's.
Right. Yeah. It's a whole full circle moment right here.
It really is. So yes, they were watching each other, and he knew that eventually she would ask for help because he saw her interest in Sohee.
Right.
One thing I do like about Korean stuff is that a lot of it is on fate. And
Mm,
you know, the things that happen because I knew you when we were children. That's why we're together now. The fairy tale stuff, and I do like that. Like
right.
in the real world, come on now.
If you weren't there at this time, then we wouldn't be here at this time together. Yes.
But in the real world though, well, I followed you around because I thought that you were invested in so I wanted to help you because yeah.
Yeah. He set it up as fate. That's what happened.
Child, okay. Not saying that is weird, but it's Korean. I'll leave it that. I'll leave it at that.
It is what
Oh,
it is. I
and
think it's a nice touch. I think it's a nice
yeah.
touch.
And while they were in that space and he was explaining all this stuff, it's like, shoot, why we being transparent? Why did you leave me? How about that? And then she
Good
did say,
question.
yeah, because they spent a lot of time together while learning Go.
Hmm.
So, she just left and he went, it was years apparently, because when every man in Korea actually has to go into the military. Did you know that?
Hmm. Yeah, I learned that through the show actually.
Yeah. He had to do his time in the military, and thank goodness he was able to be a military doctor in there or whatever. But anywho, um, he told wait. Oh, so his mom told Donghoon about the murder of young Yo Jong's daddy. Okay?
Yes.
Donghoon told him about that, and she said I was selfish thinking that I was the only victim that mattered. That's what Donghoon said.
Hmm.
So basically, she was trying not to wrap him up in her revenge
Right.
because he had his own situation going on. And don't be mad at me, but this is kind of like the first time I realized, like, so that's why she left. What do you think about that?
It makes sense for her. It does make complete sense, and that's why I like these type of shows that go back to make
Yes.
what is happening in the present and in the future come together so that it all makes sense, so that we're not asking questions, because we don't have to ask a lot of questions with the glory, at least by the time we get to episode 16. So
Okay.
that's another part of the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely. And at the end of this conversation, he's like, if you leave me again, it's for love, not revenge. And she says, well, help me until the end. And he says, I'll serve you till the end. Another one of those sweet moments they be having. Dag nabbit. Anywho, so now we come back to visit Miss Haejong. Um, it's really difficult for her to speak, with the whole voice box being damaged
Okay.
by Sarah, okay? Because, maybe we shouldn't be laughing at other people's misfortunes. And what's funny is that as soon as Dungan walks in, of course she's very upset. She mumbled UB word a whole heap. I thought, wow. Wow,
Mm,
hey Jung, sounds like you're really upset. Sounds like we need to work through some things.
right.
Um, and Duncan says, um, it looks like it's a little hard to laugh at others' misfortune in your current state. And Hey Jung decided to throw a few things.
Yeah.
She was a little upset about that comment that Dungan said, and Dungan's just twisting a knife. How do you
Right.
feel about not Dungan, but Hey Jung's fate right now?
She's alive, and I'm so glad that she's still alive, because I was
Yes.
expecting her to not be alive after what Sarah did to her at old boy's funeral. So I'm just happy that she's still alive. I'm just happy that she's still here, and she's obviously alive for a reason, because she's still essential to the plan.
To the plan. And to be honest, when I first watched this, I was low key kind of surprised that she was.
I
Like,
was I was very surprised that she
okay.
was alive when they first showed her in that hospital bed right after it happened. I was like, "Oh,
Oh, she
okay,
made it. Hmm.
all right,
It's a good thing the
that's what's up."
detectives were on their way.
Right,
She
exactly.
might have bled out like that. But anywho, Dungan went on to say that that scar will always itch. It would always burn. Oh gosh, but anywho, she says, you want to know why after 18 years, excuse me, why I'm doing this? And she says, well, after 18 years, you forgot about me. I'm doing this so you will remember.
Yes, like Mufasa said, remember who you are.
And she says, I got young Jin and Sarah. Thanks to you. Okay.
Thanks to you.
She said, Duncan said, I have some free time. Okay. You want to get Jejun back? And of course, the acting is amazing. Hey Jung was, just wild out. Oh, that doesn't look good. Strike that from your memories. Um, we automatically kind of get flashed forward into Haejung trying to get into Jae-Jun's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
She kept on pressing the numbers that she thought it was, the security code that she thought it would be, and apparently not. Jae-Jun's is in his house, like looking at the door, like someone's trying really hard to get in here.
Okay.
You thought you knew, huh? So he went ahead and got the door. And of course, you're gonna let me get the rest of my stuff. Don't do that no more, Jennifer. she was mumbling, and he let her in to come get the stuff. And Jae-Jun is being the a-hole that he is, and like when she walked in there and was looking at all the stuff, you could see that she was almost kind of like reminiscent, and like it looked like she wasn't really going to do anything, but Jae-Jun, he came in here and said, so how long you need? 10 minutes? Oh yeah. I forgot you can't talk. Clap one time for 10 minutes. Clap 2 times for 20 minutes.
Just a miscreant, an a-hole, everything under the book, just petty for no reason.
Petty, honey. And she gave him the middle finger. He says, ooh, it looks like you're getting better already with your sign language.
Okay. Yes, come on, sign language.
And he said, I'll give you 10 minutes. Walks out the door. And were those not the kiss of death?
Yes, he asked for it.
Yeah, so she went ahead and put in some drops that were deadly. She basically tainted his eye drops. Actually, she squeezed out the bulk of the eye drops that he had for his ocular eye drops, because he has, I was about to say gingivitis, but that's not it.
No.
Is it cataracts?
I don't know what it is. I just know it's colorblind.
No, he has another degenerative eye disease that has his eyes just continuously getting worse. I know somebody gonna put it in the comments.
It must be cataracts then. That's the only thing I could think of.
Whatever. So she squeezed out the bulk of that medicine, and he has to use it often. So of course we know he's going to use it. And she took the syringe and put in and tainted his current medicine that he has. So we'll see how that turns out. She replaced it with eye drops. Oh, did you see her laugh while she was doing it? Isn't that
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again.
Why?
Because I don't remember her laughing, but it doesn't surprise me that she did though.
Yeah, as she was putting it in there, she was kind of snickering, like almost to herself, and you can see it on her face. It's like, and then her face was so pale and stuff. They do really good with the makeup and stuff. Was not a good thing. And P.S. I'm starting to see now, Jonathan, that they usually have people with chapped lips because they're either sick, going through something, or they sad or something like that. Everybody else's lips are moisturized if they're happy. I've noticed that.
That's the thing, because chapped lips was something that came to my attention very early on in the series. And I wouldn't say that everybody had chapped lips, but it seems like I saw a lot of that, at least in the initial. Yes, at least in the initial episodes of the series.
I think people that ain't doing good have chapped lips.
Okay, that's probably what it is then.
If you ain't doing right, you living in the moisture that the Holy Spirit gives you. and also the lip chap the Lord blesses you with. You
Okay.
lose all of that as you continue to commit sin. That's
No
what
comics for you. Okay. No
none.
moisturization.
None. Because I'm watching another K drama right now, and everybody's lips are moist. Dare I say, glossed. Okay,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
So I think they use the chapness to give even more to a character.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So those eye drops have been replaced by Hye Jung. She was given her opportunity by Donggun to enact her revenge. So the bad chief henchmen, they were getting caught by the bad chief breaking in. You sleepy?
Oh, no, no, no.
Okay, good. Breaking into his big old safe. And the bad chief was like, what are y'all doing? And he was like, I heard that you sold the motel that you
Hotel.
have there, your sister's
Yes, the
motel.
hotel motel.
So
Holiday
we need
Inn.
some reassurances. We need some um severance pay.
Okay, some collateral, honey. Okay.
Dollar bills, y'all. And of course, he do his whole thing of slapping people. People got to realize you can't push people over for all of their lives because eventually they're gonna fight back.
Right.
And the way that these people fought back was with a hammer.
Okay.
And he said it was raining out the door at the time, and one of them says evidence gets lost easy in the rain,
In the rain. It just gets washed away, honey.
and it's easy to dig a hole in the rain. And it looks like he was going into one of those that night because he
Okay.
finished the job with that hammer.
Hammer to the head, y'all. Hammer to the
This
head.
this this is another reason. Show your children this. Crime don't pay.
Okay, it never does.
What
Well, I mean, as we've seen in the show, crime does technically pay now. I mean,
it
they're
does
getting
pay,
payment.
but it
Okay, but
depends on the ethics of the crime that you're committing.
right. And at times you will pay with your life
Yes,
for said crimes.
and he was one of the many, just like Hyung Nam's husband paid for the crime of bribery. It
Yeah.
happens. It happens in that world at least. I don't know where else it would happen. I'm not involved in any of those things. Young Jin, she's alone in her closet. What do you think about her in this dark closet that she has full of stuff?
It's like, she's lost it on multiple occasions thus far. And so it's like, where is her mind at now? And she's probably like, what else? What's the worst thing that could happen? Because it seems like, I done lost my husband. He's going off. I done lost my daughter. She don't love me no more.
She
My
don't want to be a
mama
brother
done
castle no more.
Right, my mama done turned her back on me. The chief, we ain't got the chief in my back pocket no more because he's
He's
DEAD.
dead.
Okay, like what else? I done resigned from my job voluntarily. So
I
like
ain't got nothing.
Sarah done dogged me out on a number of occasions. Okay,
She better
like
be happy she can get into her house.
right, she ain't got no friends. She ain't got no family. She is literally all alone, and it serves her right. It does.
Young Jin alone there. She was sent a video on her cellular phone device from an unknown number. And that video is showing the siesta changing room, or the room where you try stuff on. What's that called? Dressing room, something like that?
The dressing room, yeah.
Bless you. And then it pans over in that dressing room over to where all the drinks and liquor was.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an extra bottle there that wasn't there before the bulk of the time that we've been watching.
Yeah.
The bottle that gave the deadly blows unto your dear Myungo.
Yes, my dear Myungo. Absolutely.
It was certainly there. And show me the face that she she made when she saw that the bottle was there. You forgot to tremble just a little bit like Megan. She, and of course, she bum rushes her way over into siesta.
Mm-hmm.
Child, we didn't even see her drive over there. That's how fast she got there.
Right.
For all we know, she ran over there. Okay.
Okay.
And she walked straight through all the CSI investigators. They have
All the crime tape, all
all the
that good
crime
stuff.
tape, ran through all the polices, the detectives that's over there doing all of their preliminary stuff. Child, the room was blue, as in with dark light. And of course, as we all know, you should know, if you watch any of the CSI ever, they had that luminol. They got it over there in Korea too,
Mm-hmm.
sprayed everywhere. And child, you can see the whole dragging of Myungo's body. It was just like a mural down on the floor, and she was like,
Right. Blood everywhere, honey.
and she saw all the blood spatter and everything, and she saw one of those people from the crime scene investigators holding that big old bottle
Mm-hmm.
in an evidence bag. What were you thinking right then, Jonathan?
The jig is up. Okay.
Child,
Your life is over. I hope you had something to eat good before you came to this crime scene, because
child,
your days of
this it.
luxury eating are over. Okay. I didn't expect to happen what happened. I did not expect that to happen as fast as it did. Um,
Okay.
but that's what I was thinking. Your time is up in the free world, girl.
And this is what surprised me. Like, don't you think it would be? It would. Okay. What makes you think it's smart to run straight there? And I think this tells you her thought process and maybe the brokenness that was going on, the mental instability that was afoot in her mind.
Mm.
Because wouldn't you think that you just run the other way instead of directly into the space where all of that happened and they know that you were there?
I think it was a matter of disbelief that this has turned into a crime scene, disbelief that this is actually being
Mm,
investigated. I thought
this is
this was
happening
buried. I thought I took care of that body, which is now been picked up by the
out and about.
police. Okay, in the same place where old girl died. So I feel as though she went there because she didn't want to believe that it was true, that it was being investigated. I think that's what it
She should
was.
have jumped in her car and started driving.
West.
I mean, like anywhere.
Yes.
Okay, maybe not North Korea. They might be a little dangerous. But jeez Louise, she should have. No, no, no. Because Korea is low key like it's a peninsula. So she wouldn't be able to drive off South Korea. She would have had to get a flight. She would have had to get a flight immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Immediately. That's where her effort should have been. But of course, being that she was around not only the detective that was investigating her, but all these other police assistants, as well as, crime scene investigators, Youngjin was immediately arrested. She was walking out
Immediately.
with her, they did have her handcuffs in front of her, which is sweet. And then her phone was blown. And then, no, then she kept on trying to call the number that sent that video to her.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise, Dungoon was watching from across the street.
Yes, okay.
With that phone ringing in her hand. I said, my God.
Sweet justice. Sweet
Okay.
justice.
And she says, and the what's the name? The detectives were like, how did you find out all of the evidence would be here? And he said, an anonymous tip.
Mm.
And I do believe that one of the goons let her have a burner phone. That's how she made that anonymous tip, as well as her sending that anonymous video file. She
Right.
knew what she was doing, and
Of
we
course.
appreciate her for that.
She
And of
always does.
and of course, as that phone was ringing, Dungoon threw that phone in the trash and walked away. I said, "This is amazing. This is amazing." So Jay June comes to pick up Yesol, his lovely daughter. He started yelling for Yesol. He says, "Yesol, I am your real dad." You thought I was just your uncle, huh? I'm your real
He's
dad.
smiling saying this as well. He's giddy. He's happy. He's finally letting his daughter know the truth, or who he
I've
thinks
come
is
to
his
pick you
daughter.
up. And it's like, he's so stupid. Like, in most schools, there's all kind of protocol. Not just anybody can pick up your child from. And of course, we all know there's no way he was on nobody's list to try to pick up a years old. But
Okay.
one what had happened as he was calling for Yeso, one of the mothers was like, Yeso is gone. She has
Okay.
transferred over to another school. Okay. And he was like, wait. And then of course he started cursing in front of women and children because he has no decorum, no coof, no nothing. And he started calling Do Young.
Were
And Do
you surprised that he didn't recognize that that wasn't Yeso? Were you surprised at that? Because I was thinking it was Yeso as well, since he was calling her name, and he figured that that was her. I figured, hey, that must be her as well. Not remembering that Yeso's real daddy already picked her up, in the last episode, and took her off or whisked her off wherever he took
Mhm.
her. But were you surprised that he didn't recognize that that wasn't Yeso?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because he just became a daddy 2 minutes ago.
Mm.
Um, and also, her number was 4. I think the girl's number was something different. So it wasn't Yeso. At first, when I first saw her, of course, I thought it might have been Yeso. I said, "Oh Lord."
Why was I thinking that Yeso's number was 7?
No, it was 7. You're right. You're right. It
Okay.
was 7.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks kind of like 4. No, it doesn't. Anywho, well, we had to look around for that answer. Anywho,
We.
y- so he calls Dungoon because he's very pissed off, and of course, his number was El Disconnecto. Okay,
Okay.
Dungoon, excuse me, Do Young said, "I'm leaving." Okay, and
I'm
ain't none of
leaving.
y'all dirty ain't about to hit
Contact
me
me
up.
first.
Okay,
Okay.
I
Don't
have.
ask me. But
I am in the process of divorcing that woman, and being that
okay.
I'm divorcing her, I'm divorcing all of y'all. So leave me the fuck alone,
Okay. If you don't work for me, I don't need to hear from you.
unless you're my lawyer.
Okay.
Anyhow, uh, oh gosh, and then I think is that he calls Dungoon next because she actually picks up,
Hmm.
and of course he's on 10,000. Why are you? And Alana said, "Do you have yes all you?" And then and then she says, "Hmm. I guess now we know that the last thing that you see will not be your daughter."
Oh. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's not the last face that you will see. Hmm. And of course, he's still very angry, as Jae-joon is a very angry man. If he could just be a little nice, if he could have just had a little bit of less anger, it'll
He's
be.
he's real nice to his daughter. He's real nice to Yeso. But that he's not nice to the people that matter.
Yes,
That's the
Yeso can't
issue.
move the heavens and the earth.
Right.
Yeso can't stop revenge to coming to him
Right.
because he's over here antagonizing people. And shoot, like when on the last episode when he brought in Do Young's mother to let her know that she was Yeso's daddy. He was Yeso's daddy.
But I loved that he did
That
that
was
though.
good. He
That
did that.
was that was that was nice. That was
It was
because
almost like some retribution for him because
right, because of Ye Jung or whatever her name is, Miss Weather Lady. For
Young
that to
Jin,
happen, Young Jin, yeah, for that to happen to her, I was very pleased by that. And he's just
yes,
the a-hole, petty BASTARD to do that.
the
Okay.
perfect one. Okay, and then of course Jae-joon, he's very upset. So he's driving his. Can I say ugly? I can't stand that color. The green Bentley, and I
You
don't
can
know if
you can say it's ugly because it's not nice looking.
it
That's for
isn't.
sure.
Um, let me ask you this: being that he's colorblind, I'm over here thinking like, why did he get a green car?
I don't know. I'm really not sure because
And why
to
did
be
he prefer redheaded ladies?
that's another thing that I don't know. Maybe red looks like a different color to him. I don't know. I don't know.
We're gonna have to Google what it looks like. I think it's more of like a grayish color.
Okay.
Hmm. Anywho, so he's driving, and as he was driving, he felt a little dryness. Let me use my drops. Boop boop. Glaucoma. That's what he has.
Glaucoma. Yes, yes, glaucoma.
Glaucoma. He put in his glaucoma drops, and then it's like, oh my gosh, it itches. Oh gosh, it's burning. Oh no. And so then, then he stops the car because I'm kind of confused as to why we're putting in eye drops, but I guess it was just a part of his life. He was just so used to
Right. He always
it.
does that.
He was always doing that. So he stopped his car because his eyes were burning. He couldn't see. Like, I can't out. And can you guess what happened right after that, Jonathan?
I could, but I'm sure you're gonna tell me. Anyways.
He was hit with a cement truck,
Yes.
and not just him, his vehicle. Um, it was something else. It was really something else. Let's move on. A detective told Dungun, so you planned all of this, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
she said, you took the time to listen. And then it's like it's a whole back and forth about like, so you put all this emotion, you did this, you told me all this, you gave me all this information, and it's like this was your plan to do this. It's like, well, I mean, I didn't do anything. They just did this to themselves. And for the
Right.
most part, they did it to themselves. And they had to deal with the things that they have done, their sins basically, and have it plastered all over the place as they continue to kill each other for what came out.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like if you think about it, a lot of that information that came out about either one of those friends, that came out from them, not Dungoon. She didn't know some of
Right.
that. She didn't know a lot of that. She
They
didn't
did
have
all
those
the work
videos.
for her. They did
They-
almost all of the work for her.
Yes. And I really love this moment while she's speaking to the detective directly, Dungoon and the detective speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, she said, you took the time to listen to me. And he said, I had to, even if it was 18 years late.
Wow. Wow.
And I didn't realize that it was the same detective that was on those stories that Dongun has been sending them for all this time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he he did the acting very well. He was very suspicious of everything that he was saying. As you should be, you're a detective. You can't just take everybody's word for everything
Right.
for truth. And he took the time, he did the investigation. It's like, wow, you're right. Especially with that lighter that had the DNA
Right.
of Yeonjin on it.
Mm-hmm.
It placed her right at the scene of those situations, and of course, her well, it's not her DNA under Myungil's nails. Of course, placed her with them as well. Thank God, Yo Yo Jong was able to put it back on up under the
Yes.
nails. Okay, so right then and there, they got the call that Yeonjin mama just got arrested.
Mm.
This is as she was beating on Hyungnam's door, trying to get her to settle with me.
Okay. Take my money. Take
Please.
it.
And that's what you
Please.
thought. You messed with the wrong one. You're finding out over and over again. You're messing with the wrong
Okay.
ones. And of course, she never opened her door. And she was arrested in front of that door for murder.
Okay. What type of karma is that? Arrested and at the door of the man that you deliberately
Deliberately.
hit with your car. Arrested right there. Oh,
It
that's
really works. It really works out. And when Dungun heard this, like her fist just started like she's trying not to emote, but she had this little moment of victory.
mm-hmm.
And of course, the detective said, "This concludes my investigation, and I will no longer be working on this any longer." And of course, that was it for that. So Yeonjin is in the clink signing divorce papers. What did you think of this scene?
And this is where her husband comes to visit her, right?
She signed the divorce papers.
Yeah. So this scene, again, justice. Seeing her in this state, in her, I won't say prison blues because I know she was wearing orange or some other type of color.
Like a gray bluish
Yeah,
blue
yeah,
blue.
something. There was actually, I don't know if you know, there's a reading challenge,
Uh-huh.
on RuPaul's Drag Race, and so
Yes.
one of the readings, Alaska, said to Fifi, "I really love all your outfits. You make them all. My favorite one was that orange one. It was a onesie. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah, it's one of those. You know, you're in the Hooskow. You're
Yeah.
where you're supposed to be.
Who's scout realness?
You're where you're supposed to be for as far as what we know as of now.
Yes.
If you get what my drift is,
Uh-huh.
but it's just justice. That's all I can say. All I can say is the word justice, and the fact that she's sitting across from her soon to be ex husband. And the thing is, I don't think he gets any joy out of this. I don't think he
No.
gets anything good out of this
He's
because
doing what he has to do.
he wanted to have this life with this woman. He wanted to have this perfect life with this woman, and she ruined it. She literally ruined it. And I'm glad that he was smart enough. He's so smart. He's probably one of the smartest people on the show besides Moon and her
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
And the doctor as well, the female doctor with the beautiful hair. But
Yes.
you know,
Young John's mama.
yes, Young Jones Mama. So, but yes, this was I was very interested to see where this conversation would go.
Yes. I do feel personally if Jin had an ounce of regret, remorse, something in her Shando, and would have been truthful with Doyoung, I believe she would not have had to sign those papers. I believe he would have handled it as well as he could because, but then again, no, because of it's the death part. You can't get away with death,
Because
killing,
my thing is, at what time
murder.
would she have been able to admit her wrong and still be in a relationship, in a marriage with this man? For me, it would have been when they first met and she told him about all of her bad dealings and everything that she'd done bad and who she really is at the
Yeah,
beginning of their relationship. But the fact that they've gotten what 5 to 10 years down the line, he knew nothing about this before all this came about, and now that you're in this situation, what we gonna do? We get divorced. So I don't know. Anytime after they were married, it would have been too late for her, at least in my opinion.
the way that he was moving, Jonathan, I think if she decided at some point early on, before I say maybe around episode, as soon as they started getting suspicious, okay, if she would have just laid it all out there on the line and once again showed some kind of remorse, humility, something,
Mm,
I think that he would have done everything in his power as a businessman to fix it.
mm,
Because if she would have been able to go to Sohi's mama, apologize. Okay. So sorry. Okay. All that stuff. I think, I'm not saying it would have fixed everything. Don't get me wrong.
right.
But
He would have done his best.
he would have done what he could in that space and would have been able to stand with her. But he had nothing to stand with or on because
No.
she never gave him anything. That's a problem. That's why her relationship with her mother didn't work out. Because if they were working together, they would have been on par with the same thing as Youngjin's mother was being what's it called? Uh, what's the thing when
Arrested?
um not arrested? What Hyunam's husband was doing?
Oh, when she was being bribed.
Yeah, when she was being bribed and stuff like that. If
Hmm.
she would have been talking with they would have been able to put their minds together. And
Yeah.
she over and Youngjin's mom would say, "You need to take care of Donggon." Well, shoot, help me take care of her. You the one that. All right. Anywho, Do Young, being the loving husband that he is, told her, "Get yourself a good get yourself a good lawyer." Okay. Um, and then Young Jin, she says, "How could you serve these in person? You are so cruel." Like, girl, how could you kill people? How about that?
Every time she talks to her husband, I can just imagine my favorite reactor saying, "She gonna say something dumb. She gonna say something stupid." She never talks to him like an adult. She never talks to him like he's her equal, and she always talks to him as if he's beneath her. And he is
Or stupid.
way too smart to be taking that from any old body. And I think that's another reason why he has no qualms, no issues with getting rid of her because he really sees who she is
She
for real,
is
for real.
now.
And I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe she didn't talk to him like this before the show started.
There's no way.
There's
Because I
no
believe
way.
she put on a persona to get
Yes,
him.
exactly. And
And that's
now
the
that
persona we saw at first.
right, and now that all these things are happening, he's seeing a different side of her, and I
It's
think that's why
disgusting.
he's so surprised. All this information that he's learning is so surprising to him because she's shown him a whole different part of her, someone who she wasn't before when they got married. So
Yeah. So she did ask, where you guys going? And she says, I'm not gonna follow y'all, as if you could. Um, he said London, and she says, if I write, will you give my letters to your soul?
and what was his answer, Jennifer? I know what it was.
Do Young turned to her and said, take care of yourself, and walks out.
Yes.
Like, oh no. It's horrible, but I get it. Um, it's kind of difficult, having a murder of a mother. Something tells me, I don't know what he's going to tell Yeso, poor little Yeso, but something tells me that maybe he's just going to tell her the truth because she saw so much already.
I feel as though he has to tell her the truth
It's
because
nothing
she
but
already
going to
told her
do.
mama. I saw everything. I saw everything.
Yeah.
Yesol is aware of what's going on. So to try to diminish that in any way, to try to sugarcoat it in any way, is not going to work. Because that little girl's smart.
She is
Obviously, she's a very smart girl. So
smart and colorblind.
yes,
God bless her. So Do Young, before he leaves, he goes to the convenience store one last time, and he actually eats one of those little triangle sushi thingies from the convenience store that Dungoon offered him, and so that was a moment.
back in like
Um,
episode 5 or 6.
yeah. So after that, we see Hyung Nam carry out her last mission. She gives the car to our travel agent girlfriend that got them goons, and left the nurse that helped take care of Sona. Gave her a bunch of extra money that she had left over, apparently. She says, I don't care what you do with it. Give it to a charity, build a house for this unfortunate insurance and stuff like that. Do what you will. I will
Okay, do
approve of
what you
it.
do, girl.
Okay.
It's yours.
And and then we see Dungan have a really good night with Yo Jong out in the snow, drinking beers and stuff, going to the beach, just out there by the water, enjoying themselves.
Why do you feel verklempt at this moment, Jennifer?
It's so sad because it's the end. Anywho,
Yeah,
because this is what people do when they're about to do stuff.
part
Anywho,
ways.
so they were getting drunk, they were laughing and stuff like that. Yo Jung, he goes off by himself to go get some more beer at the convenience store because that's what they do. He gets a call from Dungun. And that call, she says, this is our last stop. Yo Jong runs up out that convenience store, knowing what it is. How did you feel in this moment?
Why is she doing this again?
Again!
Why is she doing this again? What is the reason? As Cardi B asked old girl on that reunion, what is the reason? Why? We don't understand. I thought you loved this man. I thought y'all had a connection. Why are you leaving this man high and dry? As much as he
Again.
is obsessed with you, as much as he has followed your every whim, has been obedient to your every request, why? That's all I want to know. Why?
I'll tell you why I'll tell you the rest. So, after that horrible scene, Lord, it just hurt my heart. He was so sad. So we went to go see Yeonjin in the Hoos Cow yet again. Um, Donggun went to meet her. Of course, as you know, there were plenty of unpleasantries going on. Whole lot of
Okay.
MFers, whole lot of UB words. UB words, I'm gonna kill you. UB word, MFer, I'm gonna kill you. B word. That's pretty much the gist of what Young Jin was doing. And one thing that Donggun did so perfectly, in my opinion, she says the one like, because she was like, do you have any regrets and everything?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, no, you're the one that should have the regrets. Girl, what planet are we on? Like, girl, you just don't get it.
No.
And she says, I wanted to see you like this, alone, no friends. And she says, I want you to regret your life. And of course, Yeonjin made sure to let her know, I don't have any regrets. So we see that Yeonjin did not give. Do a flashback. We see that Yeonjin did not give the last blow that actually killed Myungo.
Right.
Okay, it was actually Young Ron. She did, but Yeonjin got out of there before she even knew that he was dead.
Right.
So technically, she didn't kill him. But
Technically.
either way, she needs to be in there because she did assist heavily in, in that process.
Right. And she already killed one other person who she hasn't been doing time for already. So
And you know what? To be honest, technically, she didn't kill her either. And I'll tell you why. She was backing her up and she got flustered in a moment and fell. She didn't exactly push her or anything, but her actions pushed her to the edge. And so yeah, she
she's
did
the
kill her.
reason why
She's the
Oakville
reason
is
why.
dead. Yeah.
Okay, she the reason. Um which is why I can kind of see how she can reconcile in her mind that she did not necessarily kill her, but she just so happened to be there when all that happened and there was no authorities called. Um but she told Gyeongran, we went back to Gyeongran in her small little apartment with her shower, bed, and toilet in the shower and all that stuff. Her
Mm-hmm.
small little bitty apartment. She told Donggun and that she had that bottle, and she asked Donggun for forgiveness, and she says, she asked Donggun for forgiveness for the school days. Do you know what she did, Gyeongran, back in the school days?
Well, she ignored Moon Dong-un, didn't she?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And Moon Dong Un, she said, look, I am not that girl in the hallway that you ignored. Okay. I'm not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And don't you stay in that gym for 1 second more. And then she cried a lot.
Yeah.
Finally she came to her senses, thank God. I don't know what kind of complex she had going on, acting like she was trash. Like, what did you think what was going on with Gang Wrong?
Well, she was just down on herself, especially probably feeling like she was nothing with the way that those bullies were bullying her and treating her.
Yeah.
They strip you down to your bare essentials, to where you feel as though you are nothing or you have
But I
nothing.
just thought it was weird the way she treated Donggun, being that they went through the same thing.
Well, that's not surprising though, at least not to me,
To
because
me,
when
it
you see
is.
people who are going through the same thing, a lot of times they don't unite. A lot of times they don't team up against the oppressor, against whoever it is that's bullying
Mm.
them. A lot of times that doesn't happen. They just both suffer in silence.
And something tells me that she despised her because she got from up under. That's what it is. She got from up under their thumb, and she was able to live a life, and she became a teacher and all that. That's what it is.
Hmm.
Because she was still up under their thumb. That's why she didn't like her.
Right.
Okay. Um. Donggun said to Yeonjin back at the jailhouse, she said, I pray you live a long life in this jail, never knowing the real reason why you are here. And that's what made her lose her whole entire S word. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, she was, of course, beating on that window. Tell me, why don't I know? I'll kill you.
From behind this window, yes.
Yes, I'm gonna get
With
you.
what weapon? I don't know, but I'm sure you'll get it
Oh
done.
gosh. And in the voiceover, now we're out at, where So He went to glory.
Mm-hmm.
We at that building right there, and on the roof while it's snowing, and she was like, in her voiceover, "Let me do the honor," basically answering Yunjin, "I'm gonna kill you." She
Mm-hmm.
said, "No, let me do the honor. I'll be the one to kill myself on the roof of the building where so he fell off." Okay. She did, Dungun did burn everything, all the pictures, all the information, all of the evidence, everything that she came across that she needed to hold on to for this revenge plot. Everything was burned as it should be. And then she stood on the ledge crying. And then something happened.
Mm-hmm. A ram in the bush, y'all.
We hear a loud voice saying, "Help me!" As she turned around. "Help me," is what we heard. She says, "Please help me save my son." And this was Yeonjung's mother that came up. And I'm like, "Hold on, ma'am, how did you know this? How do you know this
Wow.
woman?" Because they never talked. This whole show,
Never even met.
they never met, never talked, nothing. And she says, "I'm Yeonjung's mom. Would you change your mind if you knew that it would end his life as well?"
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you killing yourself is basically going to end my son's life
Right.
as well. And she said that Sohee's mother told her all about Dungun,
Mm-hmm.
basically all that she's done for Sohee and all that good stuff. And about how well, she said what you went through and how you ended up here.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "I gave my son permission to help you get your revenge. Will you allow me to save you today? Help my son escape his hell." And of course, she asks, "Is Yeonjin's hell 3724?" And of course,
Mm-hmm.
that is the prison number for the killer of his deity. What did you
Right.
think of this space and time? I was too through because I didn't. To be honest, I seriously thought she was going to jump. But go ahead.
I wanted them to meet under better circumstances. I wanted them to meet on a more cordial type of maybe maybe a double date type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Something really cute.
Something
You know,
nice.
something for them to kind of engage with each other in a meaningful way, and not in a way of desperation, not in a way of don't kill yourself because you'll take my son along with you. You know what I'm saying? But it was so sweet, and the fact that she knows all that she knows, so she's able to convey this information to Moon Dong Un, and in this space, and she understands the connection that they have and the connection that her son obviously has with Moon Dong Un, and how desperately he needs her in his life. And I think that's so beautiful for her to understand that even though she only knows what's on the surface, that's all she really needs to know because that told her everything she needed to know. So I did love the scene, but I just wish it was under better circumstances.
Absolutely. I think that one thing that Yo Jong's mother knew and understood, that when he was with her, when he was helping her enact revenge, he was happy.
Hmm.
He was still ignoring some things that were very real, but at least she was able to see a smile come from her son.
From her son, right?
So that was really beautiful. And to see whether or not Miss Donggun decided to jump or not, Um, you're gonna have to look at this in a part two because this thing is so long. I didn't realize it'll be this long. We have made it to 53 minutes. Let us do a part two or sir, and we
Okay.
will get to the rest of this. Of course, you will see all of our great platforms when we get to the next one. So look for the next part two. I'm going to put them out simultaneously so you'll be able to see both and get the information that you need. All right, y'all. I really thank you all for joining us for this spoiler review. Be back for part two. Bye.